You were lied to since childhood. You were taught discipline equals willpower, more effort, early alarms, hot showers, sticky notes, but deeper than your to-do list, beneath your grind Instagram posts, lay something rotten, your foundation. Because real discipline isn't about gold star mornings or hashtag no excuses chants. It's internal war. You either lead your mind or it leads you to the first wrecking ball. Most live like broken cities invaded by every impulse, collapsing under the weight of daily chaos. Temptation lurks in every corner. They chase motivation like a drug, and when it fades, they fall. If freedom matters to you, real freedom, you don't hide behind habit trackers. You build a fortress, stone by stone. Machiavelli mastered this. While the world chased feelings, he focused on control. He didn't soften the system, he hardened it. He didn't teach comfort, he taught survival. He wrote, "Without imposing discipline, a prince and a peasant face the same ruin." If you've ever blamed your life on bad luck, emotional baggage, or economic systems, it's time to discover the truth. The only thing stopping you is you. This video is not about easy tips. It's a declaration of war against laziness, against excuses, against your own soft self. Because on the battlefield of life, you're either a commander or a casualty. If you're ready for division, clarity, and profound transformation, subscribe now. Let's build your fortress together. Let's expose the biggest scam in the modern self-help industry: motivation. Motivation is sold like a drug, a hit of dopamine, a playlist, a quote. But what happens when it wears off? Nothing. You fall back into old habits. Because motivation is a mood, discipline is a decision. Machiavelli didn't care how people felt. He cared what they did under pressure, under fire, and when no one was watching. Let me ask you, how many goals have you abandoned because you didn't feel like it? How many mornings have you negotiated your alarm clock like a hostage taker? How many routines have you quit because they didn't feel exciting anymore? That is the cult of motivation. It teaches you to wait for energy instead of building systems. It rewards emotion over execution. Machiavelli would laugh at that. He wrote, "Not for the dreamers, but for those who dare to command themselves." Discipline isn't about inspiration, it's about infrastructure. Consider a 15th century prince ruling a divided city-state. There are no alarms, no smartwatches, no productivity books, only threats, power, consequences. He can't wait for inspiration. He must act with precision and cold clarity even if he's exhausted or afraid. You're no different. You rule a territory to your mind, and if you wait for the right feeling to lead, it'll be overtaken by chaos, by vice, by everyone else's agenda. Machiavellian discipline means this: you build routines, not vibes. You rely on strategy, not sparks. You don't wait for good weather, you build a roof that holds in storms. Here's a test. Imagine tomorrow you wake up with zero motivation. Can your structure carry you anyway? If not, your system is too soft, and the world will devour you because it rewards those who act regardless of mood. That's what discipline is. The difference between a wandering soul and a ruling mind. Still listening. That means part of you is ready, but awareness isn't enough. You need armor. You need a war plan. In the next segment, we reveal the ancient blueprint Machiavelli used to survive the flood of chance, the flood we all face. It's time to meet your two eternal enemies in Fortuna. Machiavelli gave us one of the most brutal, honest metaphors for life. Fortune is like a violent river. When it floods, it sweeps away trees, houses, cities. All that's unprepared is destroyed. But here's the twist. He didn't just describe the river, he gave us the blueprint to build the dikes. Not virtue like honesty or kindness. No, his strength, flexibility, readiness. It is internal command. If fortuna is chaos, is the architecture you build in your mind to withstand it? Most people don't build anything they hope, they fantasize. They wait for luck, pray for change, and collapse when the current rises. Machiavelli says, build now or drown later. Let's go deeper. Fortuna doesn't care how good your intentions are. It doesn't reward effort. It doesn't care about your vision board or your 5-year plan. It rewards preparation. It rewards resilience. It rewards those who can take a hit and keep the machine running. Ask yourself, when life last hit you hard, what cracked first? Your confidence, your consistency, your habits? Or did you stand tall like a fortress under siege? That's the real test. Let's break it down. A person without panics when plans go wrong. A disciplined mind adapts. It recalculates. A person ruled by fortune blames bad timing. A person trained in discipline builds a system that anticipates bad timing. Imagine 2 soldiers going to war. One trains only in calm weather. He's strong but only when the sun shines. The other trains in mud, in cold, in exhaustion. He's not flashy, but when the chaos hits, he doesn't flinch. Who wins? Who survives? That S in action. And if you think this is just about philosophy, here's the hard truth. You meet fortuna every day. When your alarm goes off and you hit snooze, fortuna wins. When life throws a delay and you abandon your schedule, fortuna wins. When you blame your environment instead of reinforcing your plan, fortuna wins. But when you train yourself to act regardless of emotion, distraction, or external chaos, that's when wins. And that's when you win. So ask yourself, are you building mental dikes? Or are you standing on the riverbank, hoping the flood won't come? The next segment reveals the biggest betrayal of our array. Society sold you a fake version of discipline and how to rip it out, piece by piece. Let's expose the scam and replace it with something real. There's a global lie being sold to millions every day. A polished, Instagram-filtered, TED Talk-approved version of discipline. Here's how it goes. Just build habits. Use this app. Track your wins. Reward yourself. Make it easy. Make it fun. It's a lie. Because what they're selling you is comfort wrapped in productivity language. Let me show you the difference. Modern discipline says, if you don't feel like it, adjust your goals. If it's hard, find a life hack. If you fail, just be kind to yourself and try again later. Machiavellian discipline says, you act whether you feel like it or not. You do the hard thing precisely because it's hard. You fail, you punish the lapse. You double the discipline. Now ask yourself, which one builds power? Which one builds rulers and which one builds servants of chaos? Look at the Roman generals Machiavelli admired. Do you think they needed an app to remind them to show up for war? Do you think they waited for motivation to build roads across Europe? No, they moved because they were trained. They followed orders, their own orders. And you've been trained to negotiate with yourself, to consider how you feel before taking action, to forgive yourself instantly and endlessly, even as you fall behind. Here's the brutal truth. Discipline is not kind, it's not soft, it's not convenient. It is a blade one that cuts through comfort, through fear, through indecision. So when you see influencers selling discipline as a morning routine with candles and smoothies, remember, that's not what makes men and women dangerous. That's not what builds leaders. That's not what forges empires. Real discipline is forged in boredom, silence, pain, repetition, the parts of life no one wants to film, the parts of yourself no one else will see. That's where the fortress is built or abandoned. So if you've been feeling like discipline doesn't work, maybe it's because you've never really tried it. Not the real kind. The next segment is where everything shifts, because now you'll learn how to construct a mental. You now understand the battlefield. You've seen how comfort has poisoned the concept of discipline. Now it's time to do what Machiavelli demanded of all rulers. Take command, because your mind is not a playground, it's a battlefield. And if you don't lead your troops, someone else will. Let's get tactical. First, command presence. In any army, the general must be seen. He must walk the lines, inspect the ranks. You must do the same with your thoughts, your habits, your impulses. Every morning you conduct an inspection. Ask, what weaknesses showed up yesterday? Where did I surrender to laziness? What part of my system failed and why? This isn't self-judgment. It's command review. If your army, your mind is undisciplined, your orders mean nothing. You'll say, "Today I write," and your troops will desert to YouTube. You'll say, "I don't eat junk." And the next thing you know, it's 10 p.m. and you're surrounded by rappers. If your commands aren't obeyed, they aren't real. And if your habits don't align, your results won't either. Second, chain of command. Who gives the orders in your mind? If it's your emotion sphere, laziness, excitement, you're already overthrown. Machiavelli would say, "A prince who listens to everyone is ruled by everyone." The rational commander must lead, not your mood, not your cravings, your principles. That means set wake-up times and obey them. Set work blocks and honor them. Set rest limits and return on time. You must treat your calendar like a battle plan, not a wish list. Third, remove rogue elements. In war, spies and traitors destroy you from within. In your mind, those are destructive thoughts and rationalizations. Examples: "I've earned a break. Just this once won't hurt. I'll get back on track tomorrow." These are not innocent thoughts. They are You must interrogate them, expose them, execute them. Create mental protocols. When a distraction appears, label it. When a craving speaks, speak louder. When a weak voice says stop, push once more out of spite. You are the warden of your own prison or the architect of your freedom. Every thought is either a guard or a gate you choose. Fourth, discipline is culture. Discipline is not a thing you do. It's a culture you create inside yourself. Like the Spartan army or Roman legions, it must become tradition. Your default must be, we show up, we finish. We don't ask twice. Because in war, there is no committee, only command. And in your life, you don't need more discussion, you need direction. Take a breath, look around. Every result in your life right now, the good and the bad, was commanded or allowed by you. It's time to change your orders. In the next segment, we'll build your daily battlefield routines step by step. With rules so strong, even your weakest day won't break them. Prepare yourself.
Let's move from strategy to tactics. Because theory is a weapon that means nothing if it never leaves the sheath. You need a daily system that doesn't rely on mood. You need a war map, a routine that removes friction, choice, and hesitation. Machiavelli didn't trust instinct. He trusted planning. And you must treat your day the way a general treats a battlefield, every inch accounted for. Let's build your disciplined fortress in 3 brutal layers. 1. Tactical routine. No negotiation. This is the concrete, the rulebook, the standard operating procedure. Ask yourself, when do I wake? When do I work? When do I train? When do I rest? And more importantly, are these times sacred? If you allow negotiation, you've already lost. Here's your rule. Decide once. Obey forever. Don't choose when to write. Build it into your day like you build your teeth into your jaw. One with you. Non-optional. Example, 6 a.m. wake. 6:15 to 6:45, cold shower, journal, tactical focus reset. 7 to 9 o'clock, deep work. 12 to 12:45, movement or training. 5 to 6 o'clock, strategy review, tomorrow prep. Each block is a soldier. It either holds the line or the war is lost. 2. Preemptive reinforcement, remove decision fatigue. Your brain is lazy by design. It wants the easiest path. So your job is to make the hard path easier to follow. Prepare your gear the night before. Lay out your workspace. Put your phone in exile. If your discipline fails in the moment, it's because you planned for convenience, not for war. Remember, every decision you leave for later is a trap. 3. Real consequences make failure hurt. In war, there are stakes. Failure means death, defeat, dishonor. In your life, if missing a workout or cheating a schedule means nothing, then you've created a culture of cowardice. So let's flip the script. Build stakes. High ones. Examples: Public accountability. Declare your goals weekly in a group chat. Miss one? Own it. Financial forfeit. Donate money to a cause you oppose when you break a rule. Social shame. Text someone you respect and tell them you failed. Pain trains better than pleasure. You remember what hurts. You forget what feels good. That's how Machiavellian minds operate. They don't beg for outcomes. They build walls against failure. Cut to pause and reflection. You don't need more motivation.
You've set the routine, you've built the wall. Now comes the most dangerous enemy. Not failure, not chaos, but you. Because the most brutal wars are always civil. You build systems, then sabotage them. You rise for a few days, then fall back into old patterns. Not because you're incapable, but because your identity is still loyal to your past. Let's break that. Emotional sabotage. The internal spy. Every time you move towards strength, an old part of you screams, "This isn't you. Don't change too fast." Who are you trying to impress? That voice is not truth, it's the internal spy of your old life. Machiavelli warned us. A prince must not only defend his city from external attack, but from betrayal within the walls. Your emotional sabotage is betrayal. It's that moment when you skip a routine to rest. You overindulge because you deserve it. You tell yourself, one day won't matter. And just like that fortress compromised, reprogramming identity. Kill the old self-discipline that lasts isn't about system. It's about identity. You must not merely act to discipline you. Must become the kind of person who acts without question. This is how identity reprogramming works. 1. Use identity-linked language. Don't say, "I'm trying to be disciplined." Say, "I am the kind of person who shows up regardless of how I feel." Say it out loud, daily. 2. Destroy the false self. Ritualize the death of the old version of you. Write down, "I no longer wait to feel ready. I reject the part of me that needs comfort to act. The weak version of me has no command here." Reread it when you want to quit. 3. Build psychological anchors. Pick 3 symbols of disciplined physical objects. A book, a stone, a ring. Anchor your identity to them. Touch them when you're tempted to break routine. This is how generals think. They use symbols, rituals, commands to train their mind to obey. The discipline loop: action first, identity second. The modern world teaches, change how you think and you'll act differently. Machiavelli flips it. Act differently and you'll think differently. Action changes thought. Execution rewires identity. And every time you follow through on your discipline, you are casting a vote for the person you are becoming. So stop waiting to feel ready. Ready is a lie. Take action first. Become proud later. Now let's hit the deepest truth of all. Some of you are still losing, not because you don't know what to do, but because you still haven't decided who you are. That ends now. In the next segment, we take things to their final form. Not just discipline, but relentless willpower, tactical feedback loops, and Machiavellian level mental command. Let's train you like a commander. Most people think willpower is a fuel tank. Use a little here, a little there, and eventually it runs out. But Machiavelli saw willpower differently. Not as a resource, but as a weapon, a tactical instrument, a deployable force. You don't use willpower randomly, you don't waste it on trivial decisions, you aim it like a spear at key moments of resistance. Let's talk about advanced mental discipline, because what you've built so far is your base. Now we forge your edge. 1. Control exposure to discomfort. The willpower gym. You want stronger willpower, you need resistance. You don't build muscle by lifting feathers. You build it by facing what hurts on purpose, every day. Insert something hard, intentionally. Examples: cold showers not for health but for refusal training. Fasting not for diet but to show your body who's in charge. Long walks without music or phone to regain command over your mind's restlessness. Each action is a psychological rep, and each rep builds internal steel. Reminder: comfort is not your reward, it's your enemy. 2. Feedback loops. Tactical self-audits. Every military operation requires a debrief. You need 1, 2, end every day with, what did I execute well? Where did I slip and why? What gets reinforced tomorrow? Discipline without reflection becomes rigidity. Discipline with review becomes strategy. Create a nightly report of minutes every night. Track trends, spot weak points, eliminate excuses. 3. Willpower stacking. Momentum design. Ever heard of momentum stacking? It's this. You chain 3 or 4 small or high disciplined actions at the start of your day. Example: wake up without snoozing, 10 push-ups, cold water face splash, journaling 3 sentences each. Win stacks. Each act feeds the next. By the time you hit real work, you're already in victory mode. 4. Tactical resistance days. Scheduled adversity. Pick 1 day a week and make it brutal. More work, less comfort. No shortcuts. Machiavelli trained his readers to think like rulers even in peace. You train like a soldier even without war. This keeps your edge sharp. You become the kind of person who seeks hard things on purpose. Understand this. Discipline is not about being superhuman. It's about training like a general. You don't need more energy. You need better deployment of energy. You don't need inspiration, you need readiness, you don't need more tools. You need fewer excuses. And now, the final command. The last segment. The final transformation. We close the war plan by declaring the truth. You are either the prince of your mind or a prisoner of your excuses. Let's take the throne. This is the final call, the last command. Because now, you must decide not what you'll try, but who you will become. We began with a lie. That discipline is about feeling good, that it's about checklists and morning routines, that it's flexible, aesthetic, optional, and we destroyed that illusion. You now know, discipline is brutal, it's hard, it's necessary, and it is the only path to freedom. Machiavelli wrote, "There is no stability in a state ruled by an undisciplined prince." Now apply that inward. There is no stability in a life ruled by undisciplined thought, no power in a mind that hesitates, no peace in a soul that yields. The final decision: you have two futures in front of you. Future one, you keep watching, you keep learning, but nothing changes. You stay trapped in emotional cycles, flashes of effort, collapses of will. You keep telling yourself tomorrow, next week, when I'm ready, and so you lose the war not by force, but by delay. Future two, you decide here now, to take control, to speak like a commander, to build like a general, to act like a prince. That's the path. And it begins with one sentence, your public declaration. Right now in the comments I want you to write, "I choose to be my own prince." This is not for me. It's not a game. It's your first order, your first signature on your new constitution. Because what you do next will echo into your morning, into your conversations, into your work, into yourself. Write it now, "I choose to be my own prince." Then rise your next mission. Don't stop here. This video was just the blueprint. You've been armed with philosophy, psychology, and protocol. Now it's time to fortify. Your next step is to watch the next video where we expose the hidden enemies in your social world, your relationships, and your environment. Because discipline can't survive in toxic soil. And if you truly want to lead, you must control your kingdom. The throne is waiting, but only the ruthless earn the crown. If this resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, not just to support but to commit, and leave a comment below. I choose to be my own prince. The transformation doesn't end here. It begins here. Watch, reflect, evolve. This is your war now.